Hey everyone, welcome to another episode that's not balls or nuts. This is actually something that is interesting to me because of, well, all the AI stuff I've been doing. And specifically, I'm actually quite interested in what's been happening around what you hear in the podcasts or on LinkedIn or people you talk to. And they always say things like, you need to be working with AI. Or AI skills are now the most important things. They are the table stakes or something like that. Or I'm sure you've heard this one a lot. It's like, if you're not in AI, you're being left behind. And there's even like masterclass courses on what you could do to avoid this. I assume that your reaction is something like maybe a bit of anxiousness, or maybe hasn't adopted AI as much as they should. You use AI, maybe you use it every day, but somehow it still feels like it's not enough. If someone is telling you stuff that you read or podcasts that you listen to or watch, you feel like you're still missing something. Like as if there's a real AI happening somewhere else and you're just kind of, working alongside it. So I'm here to try and help settle this. I want to try and answer the question of, what does it mean when someone says, oh, you need to know AI? So I broke it down into, I guess you could say, 4 tiers. I know I've simplified it a lot. It's a lot deeper than that, but just bear with me. Trying to solve for a problem as you break it down into easier chunks. So anyway, 4 tiers, that's what I think it is. And we're going to start at the bottom tier. Doesn't mean, by the way, bottom tier doesn't mean that, oh, these are the idiots or these are the people who are not AI capable or anything like that. It's about the depth of how well people know AI. Pretty much where most people are. I would say 80% of the people, maybe even 75% now, with time going by, people using AI a lot more. I call this tier 4. This is like AI-Augmented Professionals. People who use AI tools to do their existing jobs better. For example, someone who uses ChatGPT for, let's say, drafting a letter or drafting a PowerPoint, using Claude using Claude for analysis, using Microsoft Copilot for some coding. I don't know why you'd use it for that anyway, but I read some people do it. But anyway, use AI for summarizing meetings and research and writing and planning, that kind of thing. So this tier, I would say, would include people like your parents, nurses, accountants, maybe some teachers, students, project managers, marketers. Think of it as like every profession, really. And this is kind of what I think LinkedIn and the podcasts are almost always talking about. It's when they say, oh, get into AI, I think they mean use the tools that are available. Just because you use a power tool doesn't mean that you are a mechanic or a carpenter. Then if you go up another tier, so now we're at tier 3, these are I would consider like AI application developers. So these are people who build things on top of AI, or rather even use AI to build something. Kind of a lot of what I've been doing as well, and I've been showing in my previous videos. So like products, tools, automations, workflows. So they call up AI APIs, they design prompts, they connect AI to databases, to forms. They're not really training any model, create tools using those AIs. So like if you've built a workflow, and it calls up on an AI API, so like connects to Claude to give you a thing, or to Copilot or to ChatGPT or whatever. Or if you've shipped a product powered by AI, or you've automated a client-facing process using AI reasoning, then this is you. This is like the tier 3 person. I think this is a pretty valuable tier. And it's very, very accessible. In fact, you can even use AI to teach you how to become a tier 3 user. Anyway, next you have tier 2, and this is where it gets like, this is when you start to get into the technical stuff. You're talking about the engineers, people who train models, they fine-tune them, they work with embeddings and vector stores. They really get down to the infrastructure level. These are the people that basically write Python. They know PyTorch. They can, take an open source model and then adapt it for their own specific use case. This, I think, is not, so when people talk about AI in podcasts and to each other, and you sit down in a meeting and everyone says, oh, we need to start adopting AI, this is not the level they're talking about. they're actually talking still about the tier 4, tier 3. And then finally at the top of is this tier 1. These are your researchers. These are the people who literally invent the models themselves. So someone who creates a large language model and builds it from scratch. That's the tier 1. So they are the ones that work at research labs. These are the ones that require but have PhDs. They have years of specialization, and they're very deep and very mathematically minded. Like, they are the guys who write the algorithms. 4 tiers, 4 completely different skill sets, and most content out there uses the same phrase. Everything is under this umbrella of AI for all of those tiers, which I think can be quite daunting for, let's say, someone who's looking for a job in AI. So then here's what makes this kind of confusing. So the people creating content about AI, like the podcasters, anyone who talks about it on LinkedIn, you have these hundreds of AI written updates. They're speaking to everyone kind of all at once. So that the PhD candidates and the ops managers and the freelance designers, they're not all in the same category of let's talk about AI. But unfortunately, they all get clumped into this, get into AI. So for most professionals, that's the people who use ChatGPT like Google. Like, they use it to search for something. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Job ads, they're equally vague. Let me decode the most common phrases that you'll see. For example, on LinkedIn, sometimes you'll see something called AI literate. That's basically tier 4. They want you to know that you won't panic when someone mentions ChatGPT or someone mentions Claude code. Then you still get some titles like experience with AI tools. This is still tier 4. Maybe a little bit of tier 3 awareness, but adoption. They're not talking about engineering. They're not asking you to build a large language model. They're not asking you to create a new algorithm. They're just saying they want someone, let's say, who's experienced deploying AI solutions. That is 100% tier 3. So they want someone who has actually shipped a thing. They don't maybe have the deep technical experience, but they are aware of mostly how AI works. ML or AI experience required in a technical role. That's a tier 2. It's pretty clear. It's genuinely a different skill set, and know that, and you need to know that before you apply for a job like that, for example. And here's where it starts to get confusing. So when someone asks for an AI transformation leader or a head of AI adoption, this is actually still tier 3 combined with business judgment. Someone who's got building a company experience or even sales experience, someone who's been able to transform and grow a company through their soft skills, but then they also know how to use AI and they understand it, and then they can put their judgment as well as getting maybe the right people into it and carry it forward. If you've built a workflow, if you've done automations, or if you use products that use AI, you're pretty much a tier 3. So that puts you in a already fairly decent group of people who can make AI actually useful and not just talk about it, or make AI do a thing. It gets a bit intimidating, I guess, because almost always it comes from confusing a tier 1 and a tier 2. So the highly technical work, what's actually being asked for. You don't need to build a language model to be valuable in the age of AI. You just simply need to understand what AI can and can't do and use that knowledge to get better outcomes. And that's a learnable thing. It's practical, and you may already have more of it than you think. So don't feel disheartened or anything. You're there. So next time you ask for someone with AI, or someone tells you, oh, to work with AI, just, now you have an idea of like, where are you in the tiers? You can ask yourself, so which tier are they actually talking about? Because the answer changes everything about what you need to do next. I hope you found this helpful. Drop a comment below and tell me which tier you think you're at right now. And let me know if this helped clear something up. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Stay tuned. I'm going to have a couple more episodes to clarify a little bit more and go into a little bit more depth about how we can solve this knowledge on what AI really is to you, to me, to everyone else.
Excellent.